Hi friends, welcome back to Codelligent. In the last video of our Python series, we looked at the control flow statements available in Python. In this video, in continuation to that, we will try to use the control flow statement to implement some simple logic, which will make our understanding more strong. In this, we will try to implement a small calculator, which can perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And it should prompt the user in a loop that what action he or she wants to perform, and the prompt should keep coming till the person doesn't say exit. So let's get started. So we are in our IDE Visual Studio Code, and I've just created one simple file, simplecalculator.py, and in this file we will try to implement the logic. Since we need to prompt the user continuously in a loop, so definitely we will need a loop, and we will be using while loop. And since it should keep prompting the user till the user says exit, that means it should keep prompting infinite number of times. So we need to keep it as an infinite loop. So the condition for while, it should always be true. So we can say while true, or even if you give while 1, that will make it same because any positive number will be considered as true. So I'll say while true. First thing will be a prompt. Maybe I'll do a print, and as you know, I just want to beautify this, and as you know, we can use a string into a number to multiply that. So I'll say star into 30. So this will print star 30 times, and then I will print my heading. So that will be simple calculator. Then I'll do the print again, and then I'll print my prompt, that is like what functionality user wants. So for that I will give an options like 1 for add, and then I will use \n, which is an escape character for new line. So people who are coming from some other programming language, they might be aware that \n is the same escape sequence which you use in C++ or Java or even C#. Second option will be subtract \n. Third option will be multiply \n. Fourth option will be divide. So people who are new to programming need not get confused with \n. It is just to make a new line entry. That means when I print one add, after that I want a new line, and in the new line it should come as 2 subtract and again a new line. So these options will come one after the other, and then I will print maybe a dash 30 times, and then I will prompt the user saying input, please enter your option, and this input must be taken into a variable. So we'll say maybe choice is my variable's name, and we will take this input into that. So now this input by default will always be in string format. As you might have seen in the first video of our series, that input will always take the input in a string format. Even if you give a number, it will be in a string format. So to convert that, we will use a simple inbuilt method called int. So whatever input you give, it will internally convert that into an int type and give to this. Now we need some if-else statements to understand what we need to do. So for example, if choice is equal to 1. So if choice is equal to 1, what we should do? So we want to take 2 input numbers from the user. So maybe num1 is equal to input, enter first number. Similar to that, num2 input, enter second number, and then we'll just print sum is comma num1 plus num2. Now next will be an elif, and we want to check if the choice is equal to 2, then we want to take the same input again. So I'll just copy these two numbers input here, and now I'll say print. So choice 2 stands for subtract, so I'll say difference is, and I'll say num1 minus num2. Again, next elif, I'll say choice is equal to 3. In this case, I want again to take the input and then say print product is, and say num1 into num2. So it is num1 multiplied by num2. So let me give some space for proper readability. Elif choice is equal to 4. I will take again two numbers and say print quotient is, comma num1 divided by num2. So this will be our 4 choices, but we need an exit criteria. So for that, here on the top we will add one more option, like 5 will be for exit. So whenever the user inserts 5, we need to exit from this loop. So here that condition will be elif choice is equal to 5. If the choice given by the user is 5, then what we have to do, we want to get out of this loop. So we are inside a while loop. To get out of this, if you remember, we have a break statement. So when it hits this, the loop will be terminated. And what if user enters some other number? So that should be handled in an else case, wherein in the else I'll just say print sorry wrong input, and that's it. So this is how our logic looks like. So we have a while true, that means it's an infinite loop. It will keep looping until you hit a break, and these prints are just for a decoration. So that I get star printed 30 times, and inside that I get a title like simple calculator, and then I print my 5 options for the user, that is add, subtract, multiply and divide, and the 5th option will be exit. And I'll say the user input, please enter your option. So I am expecting 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, which will be converted into int and taken into the choice variable. And then for each of these input, I am putting the logic for calculation, for addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. And finally, if the user enters 5, the loop should break and go out. If user enters some other number which is not in this range, then we will just print sorry wrong input. So let's execute this and see how it works. So to execute, we have to say py or python simple calculator dot py, and when I press enter, now you can see here the simple calculator title has come, and we see all the options. Okay, there is some misalignment in the order. So if you see 1, 2 and 3 is coming one space indented, so that may be because here we gave one extra space, so that we can fix it. So in the next execution it will be taken care. So let's come back. It's asking please enter your option. So if I enter 1, now it will ask enter first number. So I'll say 34, enter second number, maybe 23, and you can see it prints sum is 3423, which is something wrong. we were expecting it should be an addition 34 and 23. So let's check what went wrong. So the moment you notice, instead of adding 34 and 23, it has concatenated 34 and 23 together. That means it is considering these two as string. So where we went wrong? So if you see here, we took the input and we are trying to do an addition. So as I said, input will always take a string input. So the mistake which we did was this conversion which we did here should be there for these also, then only it will be recognized as number. So what we have to do is we have to use int method to convert this input. So I'll just add them for all our inputs. So for this number as well, and similar to that for this number as well. Otherwise, wherever we are not using int, it will consider that input as a string. And for plus, it might work because it's a concatenation, but for other operators, it might throw an exception when we use them. So with this, I just fix that. So now let's break this execution because our logic was wrong. So to come out of this, I'll just press Ctrl C so that the execution is terminated in between abruptly, and I'll just clear it off. So now we have made the changes, we need to re-execute it. So again, I'll say py simple calculator.py. Now please enter your option. I'll say 1, I'll say 34, 23, and now you can see sum is 57. What if I enter 3? So maybe 45 and 3. So the product is 135. If I say maybe let's do a divide, we'll say option 4 and 100 and maybe 2. So I'll get quotient is 50.0. Actually, this statement is wrong. I just written quotient, but ideally it should not be quotient because it will give you along with the decimal. So it is not only the quotient, but also the remainder part also converted into decimals. It will show that. So this is a typo. And now, what if we enter something else, like for example 9, which is not there in our options? Then it will say sorry, wrong input, and it will again prompt the user. And this will continue unless the user enters 5. So if I say 5, you can see the loop has terminated and we have come outside. So this is how our complete logic looks like. Here we have used while, we have used if, elif, and we have used break. So this was a simple example to put our control flow statements into implementation. We have implemented some logic in this, and in further videos we will try to enhance the calculator program to make it much more advanced. So hope this was useful. Thank you.